In today's video, we're going over mental health crisis. The mental health crisis for men in America that are entrepreneurs, business owners. We're focusing on men that deal with mental health issues such as depression. Now, I have a few supporting statistics as to what is depression. And you can see over here that 6 million men in America are battling with depression per year. Now, what is depression? Depression can be characterized as a mental state. It is characterized by low mood and inactivity. So low mood can be sadness. You feeling sad about something. Maybe somebody betrayed you. Maybe you lost something that you were holding close to you. It meant a lot to you. You held it close to your heart. It had value, and you can no longer replace that thing, that person. Now you're sad. Inactivity. Inactivity is prolonged periods of sitting or lying down. Now, unless you're somebody who is physically impaired, if you're very healthy, you have 2 legs that work, 2 feet, you can move around, maybe you have a few broken bones, some fractured bones, then that's different. But if you're someone who is actually healthy, then it is less likely for a large majority of people or more people around you to truly understand you and empathize with you. Now, we know what depression is. It's a mental state characterized by low mood and inactivity. There are symptoms as to what depression looks like for men, for these 6 million men that go through this every year. What is a symptom first? We understand that a symptom is something felt or experienced. A symptom is something felt or experienced. So, as it trickles down over here, drugs and alcohol misuse, that is a symptom of depression. That is a sign somebody is depressed. Misuse is rather than socially drinking, let's say for like a sporting event or a celebration, it's a random Tuesday and you decide to just pour up because you don't feel good and you pour up at like 11:56. You're just not feeling good. That's misuse. Drugs, non-prescribed drugs, abusing these drugs, using them recreationally, it becomes a habit. It's something that you kind of cannot get out of. You are addicted to. It's misuse, drug abuse. Now, I want to go over here as to solutions for depression. Men who are dealing with mental depression and have a mental health issue, the crisis is something that's very severe. But it's not talked about. For one, men already don't share how they feel. That's an issue. Men feel like when they do speak, they're not heard or they're soft. Now, think about how men who run a business, men who are entrepreneurs making their own way, how they would feel. It's a little bit more difficult for them. And I feel as though it's more difficult for them because they are not in a state of, they have less leeway to kind of suffer from these symptoms, drug and alcohol, and feel sadness and inactivity. I say that because they have a lot more to lose. Everybody has something to lose, but maybe these men have a lot more to lose because they are behind their own business. Now, the solutions would be, maybe there's a mental health hotline. There's therapy sessions that you can go to. You also have, you're advised to connect with people, make new relations, to go back to old relations that you may have kind of not showed as much time and attention to, and you kind of get close to these people again. Family, close friends, teammates, co-workers, whatever the case may be, people that you just connected with in the past, kind of let, life just happens, or new connections that you can make, business connections, whatever the case may be. And being active, not having long periods of time where you're sitting down or lying down. You're going to the gym, you're going for walks, you're going for runs, you're walking the dog. You could even just sit outside at least and enjoy the weather. Be outside, get some sun, go to the beach, swim. There's a lot of things you can do in terms of being active. But I want to focus on these two, hotline and therapy. So the mental health hotline, I believe there's a mental health hotline. You can call somebody when you're feeling some type of way. And therapy sessions, you have a therapist where you share your story, your experiences, how you feel, and they have feedback and they You know how therapy goes. They charge you for it. But I want to focus on these two. And as you can see right here, business of problem solving. So these people are in the business of problem solving. In terms of the hotline, right? They're solving a problem for someone who is not feeling well, who's in a state of low mood and inactivity. They're coming up with a way to get somebody out of that. There's a solution. They are introduced with a problem and they provide a solution. Same with a therapist. They are introduced with a problem and they provide a solution. They work with that person from time to time and they come up with ways to get somebody out of a state of low mood and inactivity, to get out of depression. Now, the business of problem solving, right? Understand that as an entrepreneur, you have to show up. You have to show up every single day in and day out, regardless of how you feel. A lot of times we do things where we don't want to do them because of how we feel. I don't always want to work out. Yesterday, I did 50 push-ups back to back. I didn't want to do that. I really didn't want to do that, but I decided to do it. I know I needed to get stronger. I know I haven't done push-ups consistently in a while, but I did it anyways. If you don't believe I can do 50 push-ups, don't play yourself. Come on now. But seriously, business of problem solving. You solve a problem, you make money from that. You make money from solving other people's problems. That's what it comes down to as an entrepreneur. You may already understand that. You may know that you're in the business of solving problems. You solve enough problems, you solve a big enough problem, you make more money, you have more clients or more issues that you have to solve, whatever the case may be. Everybody kind of knows that, but I'm here to remind you that. And the reason why you need to be reminded that is because you as a business owner, you as an entrepreneur, may be one of these 6 million men. But the problem is, it's a tough thing to realize that you have to put your emotions to the side for the betterment of the business, for the betterment of solving somebody else's problems. Because that's what people who are answering phones on the hotline, that's what the therapists do. They may be going through the same low moods, inactivities. They are probably going through the same thing. You never know that. A lot of people have issues with mental health they don't speak on. But these people are taking the time out of their day to solve your problem. For somebody who calls on the hotline, for somebody who has therapy sessions, they're with their therapist, their mental therapist or whatever. They have to take the time out of their day to put their emotions to the side and solve your problem. How would you feel if you call somebody for help and instead of them providing you with solutions, they just gave you their problems? You would look at that person like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, this is about me right now. And that's the thing. When you're going through these things, it's all about you. This mental state, these drugs and alcohol, like, habits, it's about you. It's about you taking the drugs. It's about you consuming the alcohol. It's about you feeling sad. It's about you lying down. It's about you sitting down. It's about you not wanting to solve your problem. It's about you not speaking out. But when you think about somebody else, you take yourself out of that funk, that mental state of sadness. You take yourself out of that and you worry about somebody else. You solve somebody else's problems, which is why it's so important as an entrepreneur, as someone who runs a business, to think about somebody else's problems. You take yourself out of that state by putting your focus on somebody else who has a similar problem. Eventually, you will start to feel better about that because you know, even though as a person you have your own struggles, you're looking to help others. That's what it's all about. That's what business is all about. You help and you solve problems. You're solving your problem by solving someone else's problem indirectly. You're solving your own problem. So just think about that. Business is problem solving. You're in the business of problem solving, of helping somebody out. It's difficult for you to do that if you're worrying about you, because you didn't get in this business to just cater to you. You have customers, you have clients, you have a new audience of people that you're trying to grab their attention. So you think about your problem. Think about me. If I was in a state of low mood, if I was sad, if I was angry at myself, how would I be able to do this video? I wouldn't be able to do this video. I'd be thinking too much about me. Instead, I'm thinking about the 6 million men, the entrepreneurs who aren't speaking up, the business owners who don't have much to say because they feel unheard even when they do speak up. They have to focus a little bit less on them and how they feel, which is difficult. But as men, we have to be men. And they put themselves in somebody else's shoes and say, regardless of how you feel, I kind of, I have my own problems and I'm coming to you for a reason because you're here to solve my problem. You're here to solve my issue. So think about that. For my male entrepreneurs, think about that. As you continue to go through business each and every day, you're not feeling as well, you feel a little bit down on yourself, you want to just kind of quit the business, you're not putting as much effort, energy, time, attention, sacrifice, money, sweat, you're not putting as much into it as you could be if you were to feel good. That happens. It's natural. It's normal. We're human, but we're also men. We have to be strong. So just think about that as an entrepreneur. Yes, you may not be feeling well. Yes, you may not be feeling strong. You 6 million men may not be feeling as strong as you would like to be. You might feel some type of weakness or whatever. But one, you're not alone. Two, you have to stop thinking so much about yourself. It's not an easy thing to do. It's difficult because it's about you. At the end of the day, yes, no one will care more about you than yourself. But when you're running a business, you have to put yourself to the side. So think about that as time goes on and as you continue to succeed, elevate, and scale your business. Thank you for watching.